Welcome back to my channel. Today I have a double page layout for you and I'm doing three separate things. So the first thing I'm doing is my Scrap-a-Sketch layout when I'm using Bon Appetit and Sweet Treats for my creative team. I am also using the Next Big Thing and it's adding large elements, which is a large embellishment cluster. And I'm doing 30 Days of Sketches from Christie's Beautiful Life Series 18, and this is a sketch at Scrappy Faith. So to get started, I'm going to show you, this is the sketch. I made some notes. I decided I wanted to use these pictures of my husband and our daughter making Rice Krispies. So she's just a itty bitty here. She's still in a diaper, so probably just over a year. She's not very old, and she liked to help cook then. And so I printed the Sweet Treats sprinkle paper, and I did two ways to do a bowl. So the one without the black outline is on my Cricut, and the other one I just searched up a PNG for a bowl and printed it on the printer. So, and then I'm just showing you some of the papers that I printed. I printed most of them, but not quite all of them. And I printed them at different scales, and I printed them at different orientations. So some of them are landscape, some of them are portrait. Most of them I printed borderless, but a couple of them are not because my printer it wasn't working as well as it wanted it to. And then, yeah, I like printing at the different scales because it gives me an opportunity to use different sizes if I so choose. So, and it's just ink. I also, my Sweet Treats, the first time I printed, my printer did weird things. So I'll show you what it did the first time here in a second. This is what it did. So that donut there, or that, I'm going to show you the cookie. The cookie is supposed to be this color, and that's how they printed. So some of this I'll still be able to use and cut out, but I haven't decided if I'm going to. Both of the embellishment pages printed like that, and the other one wasn't as weirdly colored, so it is in here for all of those embellishments, but not all. So, and then I have all these pictures, and I did do some sorting because I thought I was going to do 3 flips, and one at 4x6, one at 4x4, and another spot at 4x6. But yeah, not gonna happen. So I am gonna do this a little differently because I do want, like my note says, at least 6 pictures per. And so I scored this. I was thinking of doing it as one of those cascading waterfall ones where it has a pole thing, but then I decided I didn't want to do that. So I'm still doing it in a similar fashion, just not quite the same. So I'm scoring at every ½ inch, and I'm going to do a whole pile of them. So I didn't show you all of those, didn't make you watch them all. And there's going to be a lot of scoring that I do off camera because there is a lot of scoring. So I did fold these up into like this triangle kind of piece. And so to do each one of these triangles is 3 score lines. So the top, the bottom, and then the piece in between. And then I'm going to tape the back all together, and it does curl like this because of the score on the front and those pieces. It's okay. It's nice after it gets on my paper and after like on my pattern paper for my background, not a big deal. But had I done this and thought about it a little bit more, I would have done this white piece that I'm still scoring and playing with, probably at 4.5 inches wide, because that's what I do my paper mats on. And so for a ½ second, I thought about using cardstock, but I have all these pretty papers. So why wouldn't I use all these pretty papers? So I'm going to use a whole pile of pattern paper on this today because look at these. It's so pretty. So I picked out a whole bunch of papers that have some of the white as the background and some of the color as the background. And then I do more sorting of pictures, but most of that off screen. And then I'm going to show you how I put this flippy flap thing together. So I'm going to cut my paper at 4.5 by 6.25. I was actually trying for 6.5, but I didn't measure properly, and then I didn't want to go reprint paper, so that's what it was. And then I'm going to use some of this really sticky double-sided tape and use that on the flap, and then I'm going to line this up so it's just down from where that crease is, and then really brandish that on, and then my photo is just going to get centered. It makes it pretty easy left and right for center because the piece of white that I did is 4 inches wide, and that's what my pictures are. So, and then I'm going to use the chocolate page. I'm going to use the chocolate on the underside because I really like this paper, but I didn't really want a lot of brown showing on this part. There's going to be enough brown in my bowl later. So, and I don't mind using it. I think it's cute and I want to. I just wanted to like have it not visible the whole time, if that makes sense. So didn't quite line that up straight, so just trimmed it off a little bit. I'm going to put this picture on. I think I put one more picture on, and then I don't do the picture part of it, but I do show you how I do all these different pieces. So I'm going to use purple. I'm going to cut this wrong to start with, so that's 4.25, not 4.5, but meh. So I go to put it on, I'm like, hey, I can't actually line that up because it's too small. Yep, it's too small. So I'm just going to cut another piece. I have that opportunity because I still have paper there. If I still wanted it to go the same direction, I could have printed it again, which is the lovely part of having printables. And then, so I line up the width on this just above the crease, and then I push the flap part in that white bit down. Hopefully that makes sense. And then I'm just going to continue doing that. So cutting at 6.25 and 4.5, lining it up. This side is easy to do for the underside because you just put this piece on and then line up all your corners and drop it, brandish it so it stays, and then I just tape the rest together with the not as expensive tape. I could have left that open each time, but I don't know why I didn't. Mostly because it was probably, I felt like it was a little bit in the way, and meh. And then this one again, just lining it up for the top width, making sure there's a little tiny gap for where the fold line is, and then on. And so for my visibility on my top side, I'm being really aware or conscious that I'm going white background, color background, white background, color background, but I'm not as concerned with that on the underside because this will be in a page protector. Not everybody's going to look at it, and not a big deal. So I will have some that are two colors together. Meh, doesn't bother me. So, such as this one. I love this cupcake paper. It is so cute. I'm going to have to print it off and use it some more because I just adore it. So cute. So, same kind of process. We're almost done, so I'm just going to show you the last couple, and then you get to see the papers too because, oh, they're so pretty. I'll have the links down below for Scrap a Sketch, so if you want to get the printables, you can. They're super affordable. Lisa, who designs them, is from the UK, and so the pricing on the website is in pounds, but it's an easy Google conversion and like super affordable. So And cupcakes. Oh, look at these cupcakes. This last part was a little bit, I guess, kind of trickier to do. I did want it to be the same distance down as the other ones. I didn't want it to look I didn't want it to be too short or too long from the rest. So I did measure, make sure it was 1/2 inch I used. And then you can see I'm using my pencil to do the line of where I need this piece to be. And then I'm just going to use a couple pieces of that tape, line it up. This is going to be my bottom piece that's going to be attached to my pattern paper or my paper background. So, and then I put all of all my pictures on without you having to see me do that, because yeah, that was a long process already. So I pulled out this yellow, it's cardstock, but it looks like in the 90s when people used to do spongy paint walls. It kind of looks like that. So it's not really marble, but it has some different lighter yellows and a little bit darker yellows. It comes off mostly not like that on the screen, but totally is. And then I decided, you can see me, I folded the file in half for the bowl, this massive clip art, and then I just inked around where the bowl parts would be so that it gives it a little bit of dimension. I don't know if it makes a big difference or not, but it is what it is. And then I cut it in half. Going to put it on either side of this. And so this is the start of my large embellishment cluster. Oh, my words. And so I'm just going to line it up, get it on. I could have put it on and then cut it after, but I didn't want to do that today. So this one's going to go in about the same spot as on the other one on the sketch. And I have these other two photos. So on the sketch, it's down here. She's got a wreath. I decided to use this bowl because I thought it'd be super, super cute. And it still gives that circle-y kind of process, but not a wreath. And so I added a whole bunch of glue to get this on. I did a little bit of tape, but a lot of glue. And then on Scrappy Faith's sketch, she has some yellow bits on both sides. So I'm actually going to use the donuts because these are so cute. So I cut them at 2.5 inches. And then because they're not long enough, because I don't have a 12 by 12 printer, I am going to glue these together where the pattern matches. So, because I only need another inch, that's what I'm going to do. And this is Neenah Bright White cardstock is what I print on typically. I like the thickness of it. It is 65 pound, which is awesome. So it's not super, super, super thick, but it is thick. And the white cardstock I used for my Flippy Flap was 110 pounds. So it was really thick. I could have went with this Neenah and it probably would have worked. Well, I know it would have worked just as well, but is what it is. So I do have to do the same thing for this other side, but I only need like just the littlest bit. So I only need to match up these two donuts because the rest of it gets cut off. So I'm not going to worry about matching it exactly because the rest of it you're not going to see. So just cutting it off with my trimmer, getting it as straight as I can. Last little bit with my scissors. I scuffed up this one little edge on this side. I'm going to glue this down. And then I have both parts of that, which is super cute. And then I'm going to deal with these two pictures. So I trim them to start at 4.5 by 4. And then I just decide to do 4x4 because I have this cupcake paper I want to use, and it's too big or too little. Picture was too big. Paper was too little. And I'm going to use this blue cupcake paper because why not? And then I wanted to like have some of the other papers that I use just kind of snuck in behind. So I chose the 2 purples, and then this polka dot is going to get used twice. The upper ones, as a spoiler, are totally going to get covered, and I totally didn't need to do that, but meh, they're under there. I know they're under there, but you'll see what I mean in a second here. So I wanted this fanned out a little bit. I just wanted a little more with her cute little hand. And then this is going to go on straight because of the fanned out piece now. And then this is what I do with these ones. So I like fuss around with it a little bit. And I'm like, yeah, that kind of works. I want this piece too. I'm like, but I want them kind of the same fanned out. So I use the other one as a guide. And then, which is perfect, I'm going to get this on. It looks good. Get this on. And there we go. Overlaps a bit. Perfect. Like it. Those 2 top pieces are not going to matter. So I'm going to speed this up a little bit here. I am going to pop it all on and then pull it off and let you see me put it back on. But I know it's a long video today, but it is 2 pages. So I'm just... yeah, it's 2 pages. So I'm going to put stuff here, there, and everywhere, trying to build this up, thinking about what I want. Totally going to use the donuts. I did keep this in too because you can see quite a bit of the printables as I go through them and decide on what I want and what I don't want. What I'm thinking I'm probably not going to use, I put at the top in the pile up there. That yum is super cute. And the treat yourself is going to end up being my title. And I'm just, where would I want stuff? A little bit here, a little bit on that corner, a journaling spot. I'm not going to use everything, but I'm going to try to put as much in this bowl as possible. Super cute. There we go. Look at all that. Pulling out some of the word stickers and anything I think I can get on here. So like the frying pan and the pot and that kind of stuff I'm not going to use. The pot I could have because they actually made these on the stove, but and then I'm going to put word stickers here, and this one says yum, so good. And then this one says bake sweet things, and they're not technically baking, but I'm going to count it as baking. You would get them in a bakery for Rice Krispie Squares, so meh. And then I pulled that up because I actually had glued with like the tape down there. And now I'm just putting and sticking and not actually thinking about it as much as I did the first time around. So, and I did speed this up a bit more, but so you can see it come together because quite a few things are going to change where they go. I don't know if it matters being like a massive bowl of stuff, but it's okay. So I am planning out what has to overlap and what's not so that I don't have any like break in between the center here. So just putting stuff in. Those gummy bears are so cute. I just wanted them to like sneak out in a couple spots. So I've got the pink one in there already. I'm going to get the green one is already on, and I'm going to get the yellow one snuck in here too. And lots of donuts, because why not? That chocolate bar is so cute. And these ones that are cut off, I printed a little bit bigger than my page allowed for these cupcakes, but they work really well down on the rim of the bowl. So, and gummy bear. Just trying to find a piece that works in that last spot here. So this plate works really well, and I like the green there. I needed a little bit more green in a different spot, so that one worked. I snuck in another candy. This heart is going to go there. This yum is going to go up on some sticky dots because they're super cute. And all these are on the printable sheets for Bon Appetit and for Sweet Treats. So, yeah. And I did spend some time obviously cutting them by hand. I leave a little bit of a white border when I cut, and then it looks a little bit, it's not as hard to do if you leave just a little bit. And then I'm going to cut these two pieces off, and then that plate I'm going to cut in half so I can get them on the other side, because I'm pretty close to being done that part. And cute, cute, and more cuteness. Look at that massive, massive embellishment. I think maybe I did the next big thing with that big embellishment cluster. Do you think? I was so happy how it turned out for that. I had it in my head and I was hoping it would work. And sometimes when you have something in your head, it doesn't turn out the way you want it to turn out. This totally turned out the way I wanted it to turn out. So that makes me super happy. I'm just sticking in, I can see a little bit of the yellow paper behind. So I'm just sticking in a couple things to make sure I'm not seeing that yellow paper. So a heart and a star in there. And then this says time to bake, and it's going to get another star. And I did my title already up at that top corner with all those stars, and the candy goes in, and just a small embellishment cluster on this side. So that's super cute. Looking at, is there anything else that I want on here? I did think for a half second to put that purple in for the white was, but it wasn't actually bothering me that much, so I decided no. And so now I'm going to do my journaling. And my journaling says, you and Dad have always loved to make sweet treats together. Rice Krispie squares with candy were a fave. Because they put Smarties candy on, which we can't have anymore because we're all celiac. But at this point, I didn't know I was celiac, and we had Smarties. We also had Rice Krispies, which we can't have the brand name Rice Krispies anymore. They used to do a gluten-free one, but they don't anymore, which is really frustrating. But that's another deal. So here's that flip and all those pretty patterns. And I am going to show you some close-ups here. These printables are so cute. So make sure you check out Lisa at her shop. I will have all the links below for these printables. Look at them, so cute. And then I will have the next best thing hop, or the next big thing hop, and Christy's Beautiful Life playlist all linked below. And here's some close-ups. I hope you enjoyed my video today. If you did, I would really appreciate that thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, I would love to have you here. And thank you so much for watching. Oh, and I have a discount code, so 10% off printables, books, and stencils and use Manda10. Thanks so much for watching. Have yourself a wonderful day.